Two people are talking about you right now. Not about the weather, not about work in general, about you. Especially you. Your name said out loud in room you are not standing in. And here is the part that is going to sit strange in your chest. They are not gossiping, they are deciding. There is a difference, and you feel it already, don't you? You have probably noticed something in the last few days you could not name. A message that came in slower than usual, a conversation that stopped when you walked up, then restarted a half bit too smooth. Someone looking at you a second longer than the moment required. That is not an accident. That is real. You have probably noticed you have been checking your phone more than you want to admit. That you have been rereading old messages looking for a tone you can't quite locate. That you laugh, and then in the moment right after the laugh, your face settles into something heavier and you hope nobody caught it. Somebody caught it. That is what I need you to understand. You are not making this up. You are not being paranoid. You are not being too much. You are picking up a real signal. Your body registered a change in the room before your mind gave you permission to believe it. Let me be really specific. Two people. One of them has been quietly watching you for longer than you know. Not in a creepy way, in a studying way. They have been noticing how you handle things, how you handle being overlooked, how you handle being handed something that was not fair and not making a scene about it. They noticed that. They noticed. And the other one has been the skeptic. The one who says, yeah, but. The one who needs to be convinced. And these two have been circling the same conversation for weeks. And last night, or something close to the last night, it finally happened. Somebody said your name and did not take it back. Here is what nobody tells you about being talked about at this level. When people are deciding about you, they get quiet around you. That is the things that make you crazy, that make you feel crazy. The volume drops right when the stakes rise. So you read the silence as rejection when the silence is actually deliberation. Silence is not emptiness. Sometimes silence is a door with lights coming out underneath it. Think of a specific moment. Maybe it's a Tuesday, late afternoon, that hour where the light goes gold and tired at the same time. You are in a hallway or a car or standing at a corner waiting for something to heat up. And someone says, hey, do you have a minute? And your stomach does that thing, that drop, because you have been braced for bad news for so long that good news feels like a threat coming from a different direction. That bracing. That is what I want to talk about. Here is what most people don't understand. You have spent a long time being the one who is capable enough to be left out. That is a real category and nobody names it. You are the person who is fine. You are the person who will handle it. You are the person nobody worries about. So nobody advocates for you either, because advocacy is for people who look like they need it. And you learned to make that easy for everyone. You learned to not need. You learned to say, no, it's fine. I have got it. With a voice so steady that people believed you and move on. They move on. You stayed. Here is what most people don't understand about you. You are not difficult to read. You are difficult to deserve. And those two things get confused constantly by people who never bothered to look for more than 4 seconds. Think of another moment. A kitchen may be late, everyone else has gone to bed, and you are standing there in the half dark with the fridge humming. And you are not even doing anything, you are just standing. And you catch yourself running the whole day back like game type. What you said, how it landed, whether the pause after it meant something, and you tell yourself, stop. You're overthinking, nobody is thinking about you as much as you are thinking about you. Except this time. This time they are. That is the thing. The one night your instinct told you something was moving. You talked yourself out of it. You always talk yourself out of it. Not because you don't trust your gut, but because you trust it too much and you're scared of what it's telling you. But something changed, and I don't think you have fully clocked it yet. Somewhere in the last 6 months, maybe less, you stopped auditioning. You did not announce it. There was no moment. You just stopped explaining yourself in that extra sentence you used to add at the end. You stopped feeling silence that were not yours to feel. You started saying, I am not sure, without apologizing for not being sure. You started leaving rooms at the time you actually wanted to leave. And then something shifted. The people who needed your performance started reacting because your performance was loud bearing for them. It held things up. And when you sat it down quietly, without drama, without an announcement, the whole structure creaked. You have not become someone different. You just stopped hiding. Now, let me tell you what the opposition looks like, because you deserve to know. There is someone who is not sleeping well because of you, not out of malice, out of comparison. They are lying there at 11:40 at night, replying something you said, something you did not even mean as a challenge, and they cannot put it down. They keep opening your profile and closing it. They keep almost typing and then not typing. They are checking to see if you have posted. if you seem happy, if you seem fine without them, and they are rattled by how fine you seem. They will tell people they're worried about you. That is the language they will use. I am just concerned. I know how that sounds, but listen. Concern is what threatened people call jealousy when they want it to be socially acceptable. They are not reacting to who you are. They are reacting to what you are reflecting back. Because when you stopped performing, you accidentally held up a mirror. And some people cannot look at the mirror without seeing every place they folded themselves to be liked. That is not something you did to them. That is something you reminded them of. That is not the same thing. That is not the same thing. So, let me say the part I actually came here to say. Let them talk. Let them deliberate. Let them take their time. Let them be uncomfortable with their version of you that stopped asking permission. You don't have to compare this. You don't have to send the follow-up messages that makes you feel small. You don't have to prove you want it by wanting it loudly. That's not your responsibility. Their comfort is not your responsibility. Their timeline is not your responsibility. Their fear, the fear of the one who's been the skeptic, that is not yours to carry either. You are not being called. You are being wise. Let them wonder where you went. Let them realize slowly that you were the one holding the room together and nobody ever said thank you. You don't have to correct the story they are telling about you. You don't have to shrink to make the skeptic feel safe. You don't owe anyone the smaller version just because they got comfortable with her. And that thing you call too sensitive, that thing you have apologized for in job interviews and in bed at 2 in the morning. That's exactly the instrument that let you feel the decision happening before anyone told you. Your sensitivity is not the crack in the glass. It's not the whole reason you can see through it. You feel the temperature of a room in the first 4 seconds. You know when someone's lying by the shape of the pose. You know when something ending before anyone says the word. You know, most people are working around in regular light. You have been seen in infrared this entire time and calling it a defect. It was never defect. It was never defect. So here is what is coming. That door with the light under it. It opens. Not with a trumpet, not with a stage, probably with something almost insultingly ordinary. An email, a name in a subject line, a phone call at a time you were not expecting one. Something small enough that you will almost miss the sight of it. And when it comes, you're going to feel the urge to explain why you did not deserve it. Don't. Let it land. Let it be yours. And the weight, that low, familiar weight you have been carrying in your chest since probably last spring, the one you stopped mentioning because you got tired of hearing yourself mention it, that starts to lift. Not all at once, in inches. You will notice in on a morning that is not special. You will be doing something boring and you will realize your shoulders are down and you won't remember when that happened. New people are arriving. People who were never in the room where you got made small, so they have no idea you are supposed to be small. You're going to meet you as you are right now, and they are going to take that at face value because it is your face. The two who are deciding, they will decide. And whichever way it does, whichever way it goes, I want you to hear this. It was never actually the decision that changed your life. It was the version of you that stopped waiting outside the door to hear it. You already made your choice. You made it the day you stopped auditioning. Everything after this is just the world catching up to what you already did in private and on an ordinary night with nobody watching. You have already chosen this. This is your moment to stop bracing. They are not deciding if you're enough. They are deciding whether they are ready for someone who already knows they are. So, go be that. Go be that. Walk in like the door was always yours. Because it was. It was. I am proud of you. Love you. Be safe.